Alright people, how you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic damn day. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how you can start off a realistic career mode with the likes of Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, we'll be discussing the tactics, who you should look to try and fit into the system, who you should look to try and get rid of, maybe some massive signings that you should look to try and target in your future, and who you should look to definitely try and develop for this team going forward. Of course, all will be discussed in this video right here. If you can do me the biggest honor, the biggest favor, subscribe if you are new, hit that like button, and let's hop on straight into the video. So Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen have found a lot of success with this tactical setup, the 3-4-2-1 system. I will link it at the end of this video for you guys to go check out. It has been a very solid rotational type system where the offense is flowing, the defense is structured and sound, everything just works out very effectively. Another system that they have also used, and this is mainly for the Europa League games, is their 4-4-2 system. That's a more attacking outlet. They use it against the lesser sides, you could say, without being disrespectful. But in the Europa League, they don't have the biggest teams in Europe up against them, so they do look to try and go a bit more attacking, and this system best gets the best out of their attacking outlets. Onto the team now. Of course, you've got Fredeki, the captain of the side, and I will say this, he is 33 years of age, but naturally, they're a forward-thinking club, and that's what you need to be when playing with this side going forward. The transfers need to be very much forward-thinking. You need to plan them out very effectively, and the likes of Kovar, signed from Man United, a ball-playing goalkeeper, only 23 years of age. He's going to be the natural replacement for the likes of Fredeki in a few seasons' time, or maybe even from season number 2. I will also say this, you need to give him minutes in order for him to grow, so in the cup competitions, the Europa League, you need to have him as your goalkeeper going forward. Onto the likes of Grimaldo now, of course, a 27-year-old Spanish player signed from Benfica in the summer. He has been a breath of fresh air down this left flank. Set pieces, dead ball specialist, he has been amazing, patrolling up and down the left-hand side. Onto your centre-backs now, of course, you've got 4 major centre-back players that are all very good, high potentials, high overalls. Also not the oldest of players. I mean, you've got a 27-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 24-year-old, and then, of course, a 21-year-old for three positions. Like I say, all of them are quality players, and inevitably, you will definitely get transfer offers for them. And what I would implore you to do is keep them for season number 1. Grow them as much as you can, play them as much as you can, have them contribute to the team and the system. And then for season number 2, or maybe even in the January window, you look to try and sell them for a massive profit, and then obviously look to try and reinvest it back into the side. Now, I have got a few players that you can look to try and replace these 4 players with, so stay tuned for that. And then obviously we've got the younger players here that I would definitely look to try and loan out. I think 17 and 17 respectively, they have got a lot of room to try and grow in order to try and fit into the side later on down the line. We've got a loan player in from Bayern Munich, of course, Josip Stanisic. Can play as a right back or a centre back. I would probably play him as a centre back, and more specifically on the right hand side. Again, he is a loan player, so you don't need to do too much with him. You can look to maybe finalise the deal. I think that's something that the likes of Bayer Leverkusen will look to try and do in the future. So maybe finalizing the deal, making sure he's a permanent transfer, could be a realistic move for you going forward. Onto your right-hand side now, the wing-back department. Of course, you've got the likes of Frimpong. Again, don't sell him in the first few days of your new career mode. Sell him at the end of season 1 or at the beginning of season 2 potentially, where you can look to potentially get 100+ million euros or pounds for him. And then, of course, you do have some adequate backups in the likes of Timofey Fosu-Mensah as well as Arthur. Now, I don't know too much about Arthur, but I think, again, well planned out transfer for the future. He's 20 years of age. He can be the natural replacement for Frimpong, because I think Bayer Leverkusen have accepted that Frimpong will be leaving, whether it's to Manchester United, like he's been linked, or maybe another European club. He will probably be leaving at the end of this season. So naturally, they've brought in a player a season beforehand to try and learn off Frimpong and try and, fill those boots and look at the natural progression of the side going forward. As for your midfielders now, of course, you've got Andrich Mbamba, Sadiq Fofana out on loan currently, but still a very good young player, 20 years of age. We've got Xhaka, Palacios, and then Pereta. Now, what I will say is, off the bat, looking at this midfield, you've got 3 DMs and 3 central midfielders. Convert those central midfielders into the DM position. I think Xhaka won't take that long. The likes of Palacios might, as he's a bit more attacking of all of these midfielders. But having a uniformed, structured midfield where you've got 2 DMs or 2 central midfielders works out a bit more in your favor. And I will also say this, Mbamba, a very good signing, 18 years of age, as well as Sadiq, by the way. If you've seen the similarities here, it's very telling. both can play as a DM or potentially as a centre back. Now, I don't think you can go wrong with converting either or into a centre back or keeping them as a defensive midfielder. I think having them as that ball playing centre back in the future could help you out a lot more, especially if you don't target any potential players for the centre back area. I think converting them into that position could help you quite a bit in your future endeavours down the line. Onto your more attacking of the midfield now. We've got the likes of Hoffman, Amiri, Wirtz, and I think his name is pronounced Arir. So for them, obviously, you play with a dual number 10 system, playing off of the shoulder of the striker in certain moments, or maybe even the ability to drift wide into the deeper pockets of space, pick up the ball, and then look to try and create. Now, Hoffman and Wirtz are the out-and-out starters, right? The likes of Amiri is in the final 12 months of his deal. I think the likes of Bayer Leverkusen will look to potentially shift him on if he doesn't sign a new contract. I preferably like Nadim Amiri, as a potential backup for your side going forward. But again, Bayer Leverkusen are quite happy to let go of certain players that are not happy in their system. Onto the likes of Nathan Teller, brought in from Southampton. Now, as you can see there, for his positions, he can play as a left midfielder, right midfielder, or potentially as a striker. Now, do with it what you will, but in the 4-4-2 system, he fits in quite well on the left or the right-hand side, or maybe even up front. But with the natural consistent 3-4-2-1, he doesn't really fit into any of those positions. So what I would suggest you do is you either can convert him into a number 10, or you can convert him into a right wing back. Now, I think a right wing back is a better position for him. Obviously, he's done very well with patrolling up and down either flank. So I think him having the natural ability to whip in those crosses, play in that wider area of the pitch, would go a long, long way in trying to make sure he fits comfortably into the side going forward. As for your strikers, we've got the likes of Asmun out on loan at Roma. I don't really know how he's been doing. I haven't been keeping up with Roma apart from the fact that they sacked Jose Mourinho the other day. But nonetheless, he is out on loan. So you've got 6 strikers for 1 to 2 positions. Now, you do need to try and, center yourself, try and create a game plan for what you are going to do with your strikers. So, of course, we've got Schick, Kloschek, Boniface, who has been a breath of fresh air coming into the side, banging in goals left, right, and center. We've got the likes of Adli, and then, of course, Bravo, also out on loan. Now, what I would say you do is, obviously, Adli and Kloschek are more or less the same body type in a way. With a very effective 3-4-2-1 system, you need a very physical and strong striker, which is the likes of Schick, Boniface, Asmun, and Kloschek and Adli don't really fit that mold. So what I would suggest you do is convert them into either a number 10 or another position, or potentially look to shift them on. Now, Kloschek has been brought in from God knows where, but he was brought in last season. So definitely Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen want to try and build around him. So what I would also suggest you do is potentially just make this man as a number 10 and then keep your 3 potential strikers. Now, you will obviously get offers for the likes of Patrick Schick in your first season. If you do choose to sell him, that's fine. You've got the likes of Boniface and this man right here that can definitely fill the void for your team going forward. But again, we've got some transfer targets that you guys might be interested in. Now, taking a look at some of the transfer targets that you could look to potentially try and target going forward. Now, we've got the likes of Arnau Martinez. Now, it's very unlikely that he does choose the likes of Bayer Leverkusen over potential Real Madrid or a Barcelona if they do go in for him. But I do think it's a very natural type player to come and fit into the system. Can play as a centre back, a right wing back. And if you do tend to sell the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, I think that he would be a very, very good fit for the side going forward. I mean, the play styles just speak for themselves. The whipped pass, of course, when you are playing as a right wing back, you need to have that ball delivery approach into the box to try and supply the strikers with, and he has definitely got that, as well as the jockey type play style. So a very good fit for the system if he does choose to sign for them, and he would definitely develop heaps and bounds with the likes of Xabi Alonso. Onto your centre-back department now, we've got 3 areas or 3 potential players to potentially try and target going forward. So we'll start off with a new player recently signed for Ajax, so he's not available in season number 1, but Satulo has got everything that you would require for a ball-playing Xabi Alonso centre-back. He is 6'1", Croatian, of course, has got the long ball pass, intercept, and anticipate for the play styles. So again, would naturally replace the likes of a Jonathan Tah or Kasonu, or maybe even and Hincapi if required, of course. And then we've got 2 young German players here, 19 and 21 years of age, Dardai and Getcheta, from the likes of Hertha Berlin. Now, because you need to be very forward thinking with your transfer strategy, what I would suggest you do is, in season number 1, you buy both Getchta and Dardai. You then loan them out, maybe to a second division German side. You get them minutes, you get them game time, they develop, and then inevitably when you do sell a Tar or a Tapsoba or one of those players, you have a natural replacement in Linus Getchta, who is right-footed, as well as Martin Dardai, who is left-footed and can also be a ball-playing centre-back as well. So again, it's all about forward thinking, right? And again, going back to the forward thinking approach, bringing in this man right here, who does have a release clause, although it is his first season at Real Betis, I think he could be a natural replacement for the likes of Florian Wirtz, who is linked with a move to Real Madrid and Barcelona if they can afford him, and all these massive European clubs. So it will be very unrealistic for you to hang on to the likes of Florian Wirtz for 2, 3, 4 seasons, because the reality is that he is one of the best young up-and-coming talents in the world, and there will be a whole host of teams that definitely want to try and sign him up. Just like with the likes of Kai Havertz, they couldn't hold on to him forever, because the reality was that Chelsea were offering big money, the likes of Bayern Munich wanted him, and you will find those same issues with the likes of Florian Wirtz. So naturally, look for the replacement for him, and even though he is a left midfielder and a right midfielder, he is 21, he is young, and you can definitely convert him into an attacking midfielder on that left-hand side that can look to try and run the channels, drift out wide, link up a bit more with the wing-backs, or potentially come inside and create. He does have some good playing styles as well, technical dribbler as well as flair player. Now moving on to a bit more of a project-type player, Asan Odragoro, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He would be an absolute hand-in-glove type fit for a replacement for the likes of Florian Wirtz. Of course, he is quite tall, 6'3", has a high attacking work rate, he is 17 years of age, and is a natural attacking midfielder. No play styles to him, but again, he has a massive overall potential that you could potentially meet. And again, if you are looking to get rid of Wirtz and sell him on as a realistic transfer, definitely look to try and scout this man and have him as an option to potentially bring in. Now onto your youth academy. Now we have seen the likes of Bayer Leverkusen develop and produce young talents like Kai Havertz, who went to Chelsea for like £80 million. We've seen the likes of Florian Wirtz flourish and hit stardom level and is linked with massive clubs all over Europe. So you are trying to replicate that as well. I mean, there are a few other names that I am inevitably missing, but nonetheless, you are trying to develop young youth players. So one, I've gone for Germany. Of course, it makes the most sense. You are a German club. You are looking to find the next Florian Wirtz, the next Kai Havertz, the next Tapsoba potentially. As well as Belgium. Now, we have seen they do have some young talents from Belgium in their team currently. So again, try and scout in those areas of the world, try and sweep up some young talent from those areas specifically. And then another one, which is a slight random approach, but they have the likes of Frimpong on the side, Fosu Mensah, who are all from the Netherlands, right? Now, the Netherlands itself is producing, especially over the last 5 or so years, have been producing some really good, young, talented, progressive, modern-day footballers, whether it's Matthijs de Ligt and Frenkie de Jong, or the likes of Timber and Lang. Those are some talented youngsters, right? But again, they're going for massive fees. So why spend massive sums of money, especially with Bayer Leverkusen, who are not the richest club in the world? Why spend massive amounts of money when you can look to go straight to the source and collect those young players at a much cheaper rate, which is what I would suggest you guys could do for your career modes. Now, taking a look at the finances, I've gone with pounds over euros, although it should be in euros, but you start off initially with around 61 million pounds, which equates to around 67 million euros, right? Now, I've currently got 52 because I've obviously gone ahead and bought some scouts. Now, I would suggest you do that. That's a very strong, positive move for you going forward. It's a very realistic move. Now, as you can see, even though they have these massive talents on their books, they don't start off with a lot of money. So if you sell them for a much cheaper rate, the likes of Wirtz, you could definitely get a 100+ million for him in season number 2. But in season number 1, you'll get clubs offering you 70. Now, why would you not capitalize and try and grow him as much as possible and then sell him for large amounts of money? That's just my thought process and pattern to how I would start off a realistic career mode. Try and capitalize and maximize your profits from your players. So essentially, you don't have the biggest transfer budget, so you need to spend your money wisely. You need to use your scouting systems wisely. So for your scouting areas that you will definitely look to try and target, for the first one, I've gone with any position and any play style, 16 to 23 years of age, and the contract length doesn't really matter too much, but you are going to be looking for a first team prospect or potentially a world-class prospect to try and bring into the side and potentially grow, develop, and then sell on at a later date. The right wing back area is going to be an essential part of your team going forward, especially if you do lose the likes of Frimpong. You don't have the best natural talent-wise replacements for him in the side, especially of yet. Maybe Arthur can definitely develop later on, but for the time being, if you do lose Frimpong in season number 2 or halfway through the season, you don't have a 75 plus overall player that can fit into the team and then progress. So I would suggest you try to look for a player that can do a job on that right flank and progress forward with that. As for the attacking midfield, of course, losing likes of Wirtz is a high possibility with this career mode. So you are going to be searching for an attacking midfielder that does range between 20 and 25 years of age, first team quality, and of course a first team prospect. So yes, guys, these are just a few ideas that you can use for your realistic Bayer Leverkusen career modes. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It would mean the absolute most. And I will also say this, if you have obviously gone ahead and created Xabi Alonso for your side, in a few seasons time, if you have already won the Bundesliga multiple times and the European Cups and whatnot, progress to Real Madrid. That could be a massive next step. That could be your goal target when you start off this career mode, to try and do as well as possible, and then obviously moving on to a slightly bigger club in Real Madrid. So that's just another idea that you guys can use for your career modes. If you have enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, as per always, until the next time, have a damn great day. I'm out.